Does this sound familiar? This post is performing better than 95% of other posts on your page. Boost it for $10 to reach up to 2,200 people. Facebook is really good at trying to tempt you to use that blue boost button that you see on the published posts on your Facebook business page. But there's a big set of differences, and just sort of big difference in general, between the boost and all of this other really amazing Facebook advertising magic that is located in a different part of Facebook and not just readily accessible by using that blue boost button. So if all you've ever done is use the blue boost button, this will be a very helpful video for you. Or if you've kind of wondered, like maybe you've heard that the blue boost button isn't always the best, maybe you've tried it sometimes and you felt like you spent some money and you didn't get whatever kind of outcome you hoped from it, chances are you are leaving a lot of goodness as well as some flexibility on the table by sticking with the boost. So let's look at the 4-ish main differences between building something inside Facebook Ads Manager, which would be more of like how you would call a Facebook ads campaign, and using that blue boost button that is located in the bottom corner of the page's posts. So the first, and this is in no particular order, but the first main difference is Ads Manager gives you many kinds of ads. Facebook knows so much about user behavior. It knows what users tend to click a link that takes them off of Facebook. It knows which users tend to watch videos or convert once they're on a website page after following an ad. It knows which users tend to click like or leave a comment or share, which is considered an engagement ad. So one big part of building a successful ad campaign is making sure that the action you want people to take matches up with the type of ad that you are running. The blue boost button is by default an engagement ad. In recent months, Facebook has started to offer you like a different choice if you are using the boost button. Sometimes those choices do make sense, sometimes they don't. Like I've had situations where I have a link and it's asking me, the only other choice it gives me is to create a messenger ad, and that's not helpful. But by default, the blue boost button is an engagement type of ad. So a lot of times, just going back, if people have tried that blue boost button, they might have a link that they've shared to their Facebook business page that sends people to a product page on their website, a service page on their website, maybe a blog post, and then they try to boost it. Well, the desired action they want to take is having someone click a link and go to a destination off Facebook. But the type of ad they've unknowingly selected is an engagement ad, which means people who tend to click like, leave a comment, or share. So when those two things don't pair up very well, or in this case at all, you tend to not get the kind of results from the boost that you want to. So just know, if you've never been in Ads Manager before, there are a plethora of different kinds of ads, all with their own objective to choose from. So you just have so many more options from the type of ad standpoint when you are using Ads Manager. So the second big difference would be that Ads Manager gives you endless targeting options. If you are trying to choose some targeting from Boost, you can get some, but once you go into Ads Manager, you realize there's just so much more inside of there. Like your mind will be blown at all the different kinds of targeting options that you have once you go into Ads Manager. So chances are you're being very limited if all you're doing is trying to pick a couple different interests perhaps from the targeting section of your boost. Additionally, even if you boost further down the road, if you've never been inside Ads Manager, that means you haven't done things like, create saved audiences or set up custom audiences. Once you do have those, you can choose them for your boost, but you'd still have to actually have spent some time in Ads Manager, setting all those up. So again, if you've never been in Ads Manager, you're leaving all that goodness on the table. And along those same lines, would be you have to go into Ads Manager in order to create that Facebook pixel. And the Facebook pixel is something you're gonna want to create and get that installed on your website, because it's a line of code and it is completely free to generate and use and put on your website. But you put it on your website, and then Facebook begins to track and accumulate people who visited your website while being logged into Facebook. So over time, that audience of people grows, and you can turn around and advertise to that exact group of people who've already been to your website, all thanks to the Facebook pixel. So, another good reason why it's worth to dig around inside Ads Manager and start understanding how to use it. The fourth main difference between running those Facebook ad campaigns and using that blue boost button would be you have so much more control over the schedule of your ad, and you can even do things like extend the ad's run and add budget to it much more easily than with the boost button. So, if you've ever boosted, you know that as soon as you hit that boost button, that boost will start and it'll end exactly 24 hours later or 48 hours later, on and on and on, because you say 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days when you set up that boost. And you start it. When you set up the boost, you start it and it just goes. So when you are building an ad campaign inside Ads Manager, you can set the hour, minute that you want something to start, and when exactly you want it to end. So it doesn't have to be in these perfect 24-hour increments. And you can schedule it to start in the future. So if you say, hey, I'm gonna sit down and schedule all the ads I wanna run for the month, or I'm going out of town, or I know we have a big marketing campaign that's underway and I wanna get stuff scheduled, you can go ahead and get all that stuff lined up ahead of time if you're using Ads Manager. And you don't have that kind of flexibility if you're using the blue boost button. So just to recap, there's a lot of goodness inside Ads Manager. So if you're only using that blue boost button, you are leaving a lot of that goodness and flexibility on the table. So the big differences between running those ad campaigns inside Ads Manager or using that blue boost button would be you're missing out on all the different kinds of ads that Ads Manager provides. You are missing out on tons of fantastic targeting if you've never been inside Ads Manager. You really want to get that pixel set up, and you can't do that unless you get inside your Ads Manager account, and you don't have the same kind of control over your campaigns if you are only using that blue boost button. So if you have any questions, please leave those below. I also have a related blog post that I can link up to this if you're more of a reader, and you all have a good rest of your day. Bye.